Hi, everyone. Um, as promised, Gina and I are going to be talking about conquering cravings today and what food cravings are and answering your guys' questions. So I'm just going to hang out here for a little bit and wait for people to hop on. And then I'm going to wait for Gina to get in there and click join. And as you guys know, I am technologically illiterate. So there we go. View request. Yay. We did it. There we go. I think it might be working. Let's see. Hi, everyone. Welcome.
I
Hey,
made it!
there you are. Hi. It's so good to see your face again.
I know. I'm
And hi,
so
everyone
glad.
watching. We're so excited you're here. Like, welcome, welcome.
I'm so glad that we just keep flowing with this topic and this conversation because it seems like there's a lot of people who are interested in this topic.
So interested. And what's really interesting, as we are talking, you guys just post your questions, but what really blows my mind is that the mindfulness aspect to cravings is like people aren't even like, this is mind blowing for people. They're like, what? I need to be mindful, what I need to like see what the emotion is around it. And so I really love that people are so open to healing this way, and how our society, I mean, I feel like, I've been in this world for, I don't know, almost 4 years, and there's like people are healing, but it's very slow. I think if we can bring the mindfulness aspect our cultural into our culture of healing, like we will see healing happen exponentially, and
Yeah.
everyone's mental health will improve, their emotional health will improve, their physical health will improve. And so take it away, and I'm gonna see if there's any questions here, but you guys just post your questions. Gina, tell us a little bit more about what you want to kind of chat today about, and I'll see if
Well, I
there are.
love what you said about this is where people get stuck because I was that person where I know what I should be doing. And I think that's the most common thing that I hear people say is I know what I should be doing. A lot of people, if you are out there and you've been working at your health for a while, some people are really smart and really educated around food and health. So it's what is the block then?
Right.
Because so many people are yeah, I know the ins and outs of nutrition, and maybe they don't know everything. Maybe they're not at expert level, but they're I've got the basics. But for some reason, I can't stick to it or I can't do it. And what is going on there? And so a lot of the time where people go wrong is they keep thinking I must just not have the right plan.
Mm-hmm.
There's or maybe I'm broken. Maybe, other people can do it.
Willpower, or the right coach, or the right nutritionist, or the right.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So they jump from nutritionist to nutritionist, and they're either blaming their nutritionist or they're beating themselves up, and they're I can't do it. I don't know why I can't do it. There must be something wrong with me, or I just need more willpower. I think that's one of the most common things that I hear people say is if I just had more willpower. Yeah, it's coming up in the comments, a lot of people saying, I'm just trying to use willpower. And willpower is an emotion. It comes and goes. We have really great willpower when it's sunny out and you hear a good song on the radio and you have good energy and you're yeah, I'm going to do it this time. And we can't ever sustain that in life. And then we
No.
don't have good willpower when we're sad, or we're really stressed, or there's a sad song on and all of a sudden you're yeah, life sucks. And then you want to go sabotage or whatever.
Yeah.
So if we follow that willpower roller coaster, no doubt you're going to be stuck on a roller coaster for sure.
Well, and I love how you said we can't have willpower 24/7. It doesn't
Right.
work. You are going to have sad days. We are all humans having this human experience. You are going to come across triggers, maybe at work or maybe with your partner or your children, and you can't just force through that. That is literally that is so unrealistic. And what this often turns into when we say, well, I just need more willpower, then it starts to turn into eating disorders and mental disorders
Exactly.
and these really, really severe imbalances. And then it becomes very unbalanced, and we're overcompensating in an area when really what we need to do is again, drop into our bodies, connect, find the compassion, find the safety, find the love, you
Yeah.
know? So using sheer willpower won't work. If you are doing that and it's working, it
It's
could be
short.
swaying. It's short, or it's swaying in the wrong direction, where it's actually very unhealthy for you mentally.
I think of willpower as like, I have to like rev up something to get willpower. So for me, like when I was relying on willpower, it was like caffeine and excitement and motivational things and motivational things on Instagram. And like, I actually don't follow anybody on Instagram anymore that's like, look at my abs, I'm really awesome.
Right.
To me, that was like my fuel, but it's very short lived because it doesn't actually give you any sort of tool to help you. It's just like, it's that like little motivational burst. And so I think of using motivation or willpower. Willpower to me is almost like this intense, like very intense, stressful energy where a lot of the time cravings happen because you're in a stressed state. So it's like we actually need to do the opposite of willpower, of like this intensity around food, and actually create like this more gentle calmness around food that calms the nervous system, and then we can like actually get back in control over our bodies again.
Exactly. So tell us a little bit about the Conquering Cravings, because you guys, as far as the course goes, Gina's not just going to unpack emotions. She's actually going to unpack the biochemistry that's happening in your body. Can you give like a quick snippet of like what that's going to look like? Because we do want you to be cerebral about your healing, but we also want you to like be connected and find safety in it too.
Yeah.
And so like, again, like forcing through things, like using like trying to follow a treatment plan perfectly or a menu plan perfectly. Like this is all very cerebral masculine energy. What we want to do is marry the masculine energy with the feminine energy of like being sensitive and introspective and connect and find safety within yourself again. Because when we can heal these cravings from both angles, that's when you're actually going to see real long lasting healing. My dog's like it out, so I'm just gonna.
So this would be for you if like you are trying to stick to your program and you're just like, man, if you keep saying I keep starting over again on Monday, or I'll just start over tomorrow, and you get trapped in like this cycle of like you're getting stuck in it. Or maybe if you just notice that like when you are bored at work and you feel really snacky and you just don't have control over it, or at the end of the night, like late at night, and you know you're revving up those hunger hormones, or you're not even hungry but you just don't seem to have control at night, or you're just feeling a little bit disconnected from your body and you don't really know what it's speaking to you or what it really needs, things like that, or you're getting sugar cravings and you don't understand why. We're going to unpack why is that happening to your body and what you need to do about it to get back in control over your body, because most people are just giving themselves more rules and it doesn't ever work. Like if you're hopping from like one plan to the next or one rule to the next, it's time to like actually connect to your body and hear what it's telling you. So I've been using these techniques for myself. That's kind of how I first started this program, and with people for years, to help them actually understand why is their body triggering a craving, and then actually learning the skills and practicing them to actually feel what it feels like to calm your nervous system and connect to your body. And then the cravings kind of go away on their own, or they lower, or they subside, so it's not taking over you. Like if you've ever had a craving and you're like tunnel vision and you're like, I'm not moving until I'm getting what I'm getting, or I'm eating what I'm eating, and you're so tunnel vision that you can't even think of anything else. And so we actually break that response, we break that autopilot, and it's based in science. It's just based on how your brain works, how your stress hormones work, how their job is to drive you to eat sugar and carbs, and how do we break that response so it becomes a lot easier, so you're not going head to head with your body's own instincts anymore.
I'm just curious, everyone that's watching, if you want to tell us how many of you have sugar issues? Because a lot of people, I get like DMs almost daily, like, what do I do about my sugar cravings? And I wish there was like such a, like, it's so funny when people ask a question like that, because like, well, we could literally write a book on it, right? Like it's not as quick. And well, just take Genema, right? And so just let us know here, like how many of you actually have like sugar addiction? Because if you haven't been listening to the podcast, like we talk about like how sugar is the most addicting substance on the planet. It's also a poison, and it's unregulated. Like you can literally eat endless amounts of sugar and no one's going to care, you know? And so how many of us like have sugar addiction? Yeah. See, I'm suggesting a major, right?
For sure.
it's like unpacking, okay, like why do we have that addiction? How do we counterbalance it? Like what are some life skills that we can like implement in our lives as we are slowly weaning from it? Because a lot of you probably won't believe this. I was the biggest sugar addict on the face. Like, Gina, did you know that?
No, I
Like,
had no idea.
biggest. Like, okay. Like a lot of Americans don't know what condensed milk is. Do you know what condensed milk is?
Yeah, this
So
just
I
like
could
thick in milk and sugar, right?
I could drink an entire can. Like
Wow.
day. Like it was bad. And growing up, I'm like, I don't know why I get so many headaches. Well, it's because of the sugar. But when I started implementing mindfulness, when I started changing my life, like, and I've gone through the things where I was like, I'm like sheer willpower, but that just created more stress. But when you start utilizing certain tools and practices and mindful practices, like it's so incredible that like you said, it just goes away. And who doesn't want that craving to just gently poof into oblivion, right? It can be easy. And here's the thing that we want you guys to understand too. It's not going to happen in a week and it's not going to happen in a month. So what you're going to learn are tools to practice and implement over and over, and they're gentle and they're kind and they're loving tools. They shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be this big fat ordeal, right, Gina?
Exactly. I mean, when you're using willpower and food or sugar cravings feel like a war, like I
Mm-hmm.
know what that was like, where you feel like
A
you're gearing up
war.
this motivation every day and you're like head to head with it. Well, guess what wins? Your instincts win. And so sugar cravings a lot of the time come from this instinct in our body to protect us. So when we're stressed or when our hormones fluctuate or when, our body senses that there's a threat, then we need quick energy. So instead of going head to head with more willpower, you're just using different techniques to learn how to calm your nervous system. And I wish somebody had taught me this 5 years ago when I was feeling like crap about myself. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like, I don't know. I don't understand what's wrong with me. Like, why do I say I'm going to do it and I can't do it?
Right.
Why do I give myself, like, I have the degrees. I know that, like, I know
Right.
all the science, it's like I study the
Mm-hmm.
science. Why I should be able to do this? So it's not always about more information.
Yeah.
It's just about taking a different approach.
I was actually just about to say that. It's like listening to another podcast is not going to motivate you to cut out that sugar. I promise you. Like
Yep.
trying to take control of these cravings from that cerebral space, from that masculine energy space, it's not happening because you can no, no, no. But when, like you said, when the craving kicks in, when the chemistry kicks in, you cannot override that chemistry. So you need to actually understand it.
Yep.
And like integrate it in a way that is gentle and loving and
You can start working with your body instead of fighting it. Like you can
exactly.
understand what your body needs. What is the craving communicating to you? And then you can know how to ride it. I think of it like surfing. So what most people do is when they go surfing or when they think about a craving, they're like going head to head surfing with this giant tidal wave and they're like get thrashed around and thrown around and they're like drowning and they're tossed. Like if you go head to head with your cravings, you probably feel that. You're like, yeah, it feels like I'm being thrown around under the water, choking on, seaweed. But if you can actually feel the experience in your body and allow yourself to feel that experience, you can actually start to predict when is it building up, and you feel it like a wave building up, and you can actually be with the experience and you actually start to ride it like a wave and know that it's going to peak and then learn how to allow it to taper off like a wave. And you kind of move through it and it becomes so much easier. And it's not about you eating perfect all the time. And, we're not saying don't ever eat the sugar or don't ever eat the cookie or don't ever indulge. We're going to teach you how to be perfectly healthy. Like, that's not at all what it's about.
No.
But we don't want you to be controlled by the sugar. We want you to decide if you're going to eat sugar, you're deciding when you want to and how much that you want to.
I love that. I said a couple of years ago, like eating healthy, it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle makeover. And these are tools to help you change your lifestyle because we don't want this to be a fad. Like healing your body is a lifetime goal, right? And so you're not going to do it by sticking perfectly to plans and this and that because that isn't actually sustainable. But when you have these mindful practices and you have the knowledge and the tools to help integrate everything beautifully and comfortably, and I want to say comfortably, right? Because it should feel natural. It shouldn't feel awkward, and it shouldn't feel like it's not organic. So when you can creating these tools that are gentle and natural and organic, then maintaining a healthy lifestyle is really easy, and it's in flow, and it feels good, and you look forward to it, and you're excited about life, and you have joy about your life again, and you have compassion and love. And these are all like emotions and frequencies and vibrations that perpetuate more healing and more health. When you are in a stress response because you're following these meal plans and this rigidity and this diet and all of this, like that creates a stress response that increases inflammation, that increases, and it's this vicious cycle. You need to change the culture of what healing looks like, and realize that healing is a journey. And so we need to use and implement tools that are gentle and natural and easy, so that this can be sustainable for the rest of your life. And how amazing too would it have been if we had all had these tools and this knowledge when we were teenagers, when we were kids, that were like
oh
having
my gosh,
food issues. And like, how many people don't have healthy relationships with their food? And it's not actually the food, it's the relationship with themselves and the relationship with maybe other people. But like understanding and having a healthier relationship to yourself and your food. If we could have all of our little girls and our pre-teenagers and our teenagers understand these tools, or have them see us implementing these tools, and then we're teaching it to them, like the mental health of this country would completely shift. And that's what we want. We want healing to happen, but not just via food. We want it by like your emotional state too, and your relationship to your food, and your relationship to your body. And so it's this synergistic, holistic way of healing. This is what we really mean by holistic healing. We're utilizing everything, science, emotions, like mindfulness, like use them all together to integrate into this beautiful healing modality.
Well, I love what you always say too, like you can't heal a body that you're at war with. And we've talked about that a lot in our own experiences of like, if you are trying to heal your body, but you are at war with your food or at war with your body, those are clashing things. It's really hard to do. So first create that relationship with the food as you're healing your body.
I love that. I love that. Are there any questions that we have? And Gina, is there anything else you want to keep saying? You guys oh, and if you're interested in the Conquering Cravings course, just go to gutsy.ch/cravings. I'm going to put it in the comments here. Go ahead, and you can keep talking, Gina.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I love what you said too, that it is in this gentle way, because one of the questions that some people have is like, are you going to make me give up foods that have been actually my safety? Like, yeah, I know I don't have control over them, but they're actually my safety. Like, it's my trigger food, but I don't know if I'm quite ready yet to give it up. And that's the greatest thing, is like, we don't give you any rules. Like, you are the driver of this. This is about you learning about yourself and connecting with your own body, and you being the driver and like being in choice. So it's not about restriction or telling you that you can't eat anything. It's really about creating empowerment inside your body. So really, these are skills that you can learn one time. You can learn them and then practice them, and you'll have them for the rest of your life. It's something that I spent many, many years working with clients to see how did they respond to it. I used it on myself for many years to understand. I still use it to this day, like practicing it in my body and digging into the research of like, what is happening to our bodies when we get stressed or emotional, or why do we get cravings? Why do we self-sabotage? So it is really powerful tools that you can really learn. I'm excited to do it. We did get a question.
I love how someone said here that if only these things were taught in public schools instead of years worth of things that kids will never use. 1,000,000%. Like the fact that we, like our generation now, is just delving deep into mindfulness, and we're like, oh my gosh, our kids should be doing this. Like, it's shocking, right? That we have like generations of trauma to unpack, and we're like, oh no, we have to, like, let's play catch up now. Like, hopefully in the next few decades, these will be things taught in school because the culture is going to be changing so much. What was I reading? Ely, if you're still on here, like, feel free to throw out statistics, but like mental, like health is the worst it has ever been, ever, right? Like, we're smarter than ever. We have more resources than ever. And we are the most mentally dysfunctional than we've ever been, globally too, right? And so like something's got to give. Like clearly what we're doing is not working. And so we have all of these resources. Now we need to learn how to integrate them. And obviously having more information is actually not helping us. So let's learn the mindfulness and the tools and the holistic approach to integrating our information versus just like shoving more information down your throat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Again, if you're interested, go to gutsy.ch/cravings. That's where you can sign up. Now, if you sign up before August 1st, you get $50 off the course. So it's $250. If you're a Gutsy Health member, I don't remember what the code was, but it's in your emails. You guys can apply that and you get an extra $50 off. So the course is only $200 versus $250. But make sure for everyone else to sign up for $50 off, sign up before August 1st, and you'll get it for $250. And like these are tools that are so important and so vital. And like that is literally the price of a consult with Gina or with myself. Like if you want to do a consult with me, 1 hour consult, it's like $300 right now. You know, like you literally get 3 weeks of unpacking tons and tons of information, Q&A, like, you know, group setting, like understanding and learning. It's so valuable. It really, really is. And Gina is just such a pro at all of this. So, what are the questions?
One question we got was, what do you think about fasting as a sort of reset our minds around food? So that's a great question. First, I want to start by saying that it's okay to be your own research project and experiment. So there's nothing is off the table completely. Some people are very against any like certain rules or things. First, I just want to set the stage that like this can be your own experiment as your own research project. For some things might work for somebody and they really don't work for another person. But as like a general guideline, when you move to fasting, that's more of like, I like to save that for when you've really gotten control over your food and your body. And the reason why is when you're fasting, you're going to feel a lot of hunger signals. And the problem with cravings is that we're so disconnected from listening to our bodies. We're eating with our minds. So we're eating because of stress or emotions or because of a nutrition plan or a calorie count or a measuring or a weighing. And it's all a mind-based way of eating. And it's really like a lot of the time we use plans or rules because we don't trust our bodies. So we get disconnected from our bodies and we try to suppress any hunger signals or cravings, and it creates disconnection. When you're fasting, you're going to start to feel signals from your body. And the point of fasting is to kind of push that back down and say, it's not time yet. Time is mind. So what I like to do is have people first create trust with their body before they start fasting. So first you get really sensitive to like, what is a real hunger signal? What's an emotional hunger signal? How do I get really sensitive to the difference between the two? And let my body know that it is safe and that it will be fed. And first we have to like create safety in the body that like you're going to be fed and you can trust your body and you can listen and honor these signals. So a lot of the time when we don't honor those signals, if we go too long without eating, in our subconscious, we're kind of telling you like, no, you're not allowed to eat. And we're sending that message. So then all of a sudden this binge ends up coming because we're like, I might not be fed again later. And it creates this like under eating, overeating. So if you don't have a good relationship with food, fasting tends to not be the first thing to start. First, Let's create trust and safety that you will be fed again. And then you can start kind of playing with a little bit of fasting when it's the right time. But it tends to make the roller coaster of cravings worse.
And worse. Exactly. And if you have hormonal imbalances. So I just want to do like, a lot of the people that are preaching fasting are men who are bodybuilders. That's really great when you have one hormonal cycle a day. We have two. As women, we bear children. We have completely different body compositions. These are all things that we need to take into account, right? And so until a man pushes out a baby and has 2 hormonal cycles, I'm not gonna I'm gonna actually listen to my own body versus theirs. Like, yes, there are tons and tons and tons of health benefits to fasting.
Yeah.
But when your body has already been overstressed and overburdened by bearing children, having heavy menstrual cycles, having irregular periods, like fasting could make things worse. And so when your body is in that stress response and then you're fasting and you're forcing that stress response further and further and further, it can cause a lot of issues down the line. So start with the mindset, with the safety, with the understanding, and go gently. Healing doesn't have to be forced. We do not have to beat our bodies into submission.
Yes.
We can actually gently coerce our body into healing, and it's actually a really beautiful and loving process. Like, if you're not enjoying your healing journey, we might be doing something wrong.
Yep.
Right. So
when I just want to say, when I was fasting, when I was before I really worked on this craving piece, and I was trying intermittent fasting, and I was trying willpower, and I was using time in my mind. I was like, you know, everything's intensity, right? Like, all this biohacking is super hot, and it's just like intensity, fasting, water fasting. And I was like, I could do it. And then I would just end up like out of control, and then not understanding why. And they'd be like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to do another fast, and I'm going to do it again. And it's like,
I'm going to do all these things. It's going to be amazing.
And then I wondered why I didn't trust my body. And then I'm blaming my body, like, body is bad. You know, so once I could actually connect with my body and create a trusting relationship, I might fast sometimes, but I never set a rule like I must do it. Like, my body is actually my number one guide. I always create trust in my body. Like, body comes first. If I have a plan to do a workout and my body isn't feeling it, like, body comes first. And that's not a mind like lazy, like, oh, I don't feel like it. It's like a honoring with my body. And then I never have to like undereat, overeat if I'm not feeling that fear of like, I won't be fed again, or I'm not listening to what it's saying. Like, my body is like my co-creator or co-healer. Like, we're doing it together. It's not punishment.
I absolutely love that. And I've shared that before, where like my exercises are like, my body is actually guiding me, and I'm not following someone else's protocol. It's like, if I'm too tired, I'm going to lift less weights. If I have energy, then I'm going to like do a little bit of cardio. And so like, just feeling into like what your body wants and what your body needs, that's the same thing. Like, it's like, you're just learning tools to learn the language of your body, so that your body is also part of this healing process too.
And then it becomes fun.
Yes. And then it's fun, and it's in flow, and it's easy, and you're in choice, and you don't feel like you are being forced to do something, because no one likes to be forced to do anything. Like, that energy is just like, the energy of like, this is great and in flow is different from I have to and I will, and look at my handful of supplements, right? Like, it's very different. Like, I always teach people, I'm like, I love taking my supplements because it honors my body, and it's not like, I have to do this again because my body's broken. It's like, no, I honor my body. And so you just change the energy, and the chemistry changes too. You change the perception, and the body changes too. Someone said here, I cannot quit gaining weight. My cravings are so intense. I don't know where to go from here, especially wanting to get pregnant and being overweight. If this is your story as well, I highly, highly, highly recommend doing the Conquering Cravings.
Yeah.
It's such a great mindset place to start, even though, again, it's not all just mindset. You are going to be learning chemistry. You're going to be learning where these cravings are coming from, but this is where you need to start. All right. Like, this is a really, really great place to start. If you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to fall pregnant, if you're trying to balance your hormones, this is just a piece of mindfulness and mindset that helps. Like, if you look at the order of healing, number one in my order of healing is mindset. And so this is just a branch off of the mindset aspect, where you're really unpacking that and going forth in your healing process on the right foot.
Yeah. So this could be a really great, like, 2 things to touch on is some people saying like, I don't think my body can actually do it. And then also, like, how do you start gaining trust back with your body? I think these are really great questions to integrate into one answer, because a lot of people don't believe that they can do it because they don't trust their body, because they're like, it's become a toxic relationship. So if you have ever had a relationship that was very toxic, that you maybe put yourself down, or you promised that you would do something and you broke those promises, you're not going to have a lot of trust. So if you have been eating from your mind, where you have rules, restriction, but you also have emotional eating, stress eating, all these things, of course you don't trust your body. You've never built trust with your body. And sometimes we've been taught since we were little kids to not trust our body. Like if you were one of the kids that like you had your food on the plate and you know your parents were like, don't stop eating until all the food is gone.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's training us. Don't trust your body.
Like
Trust what you're seeing.
Yeah.
Trust it when it's all gone.
Someone says here, I want to learn to trust my body. There's a lot of things I want to do. I don't think my body can actually do it. So this is a quote that I wrote down from Britt Lefko. She is a freaking genius. And she's going to be doing another really intensive Healing the Unhealable course. But she said there's no such thing as a body that can't do it. There's only such thing as a mind that can't do it. And so you have to change your mindset, and you have to change the programs that are running the show, because the body follows what, like the perception, the body follows. And so it's a really, really great example of like, okay, there is a shift that needs to happen here, because your body actually can, it has everything. And so someone else is asking, like, how do you start gaining trust back with your body? Well, these are tools that we're going to unpack, because like, get this, none of us, I mean, probably most of us, none of us have been taught tools on how to trust our body. Like you were saying, you're forced to eat your food. You have to do this. You have to do that. Who here, tell me, how many of your parents said, what does your body feel like it wants to eat today? What does your body feel like doing today? How does your body want to move today? How many of you were barked orders at and you were told what to do, and your body and your own intuition never had a say? And so now we grow older and we're like, why is my body not functioning? Well, it actually, you've never asked it how it likes to work. You've never asked it how it likes to play. You've taken on other people's priorities, other people's personalities, other people's to-do lists, and you started becoming them instead of being you. Yeah. Right? So again, it's like, it's relearning how to actually be in your body. That's how we start to learn the trust aspect.
Absolutely. Yeah, and so trust, a lot of the time we want to force trust, like, oh, force self-love or force trust. And unfortunately, we live in a culture that's like self-love, 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 self-love. And if you've had that bad relationship, you're like, well, I don't love myself, so I can't heal. Like, I can't get past that breaking point. And love and trust happens through understanding. So a lot of people are not understanding why their body is doing what it's doing. It's like they don't understand why cravings are taking over. But then when we understand it and we actually help you, give you what you need, the cravings dissipate. So a lot of the time the cravings come because we're just looking for pleasure for something. So we can create feelings in our bodies that allow us to create love, safety, a lot of the things that we feel like maybe we've been empty and missing and needing to fill up. And then the cravings dissipate on their own. But I can bet that nobody's ever taught you those skills before. So of course you don't have trust, because you've probably worked with nutritionists or personal trainers or your parents or society who told you, don't trust your body. Use this sheet of paper that has serving sizes and cup measurements to tell you how much to eat. You know, follow this sheet of paper instead of your own body. So we're like, yeah, I can't trust my body. No way. I definitely can't. And then you get so disconnected and it's confusing and you don't know how to honor your body. It's like you get all these mixed signals. So it just takes a little patience. I want you to think of this as learning to play a new instrument or a new hobby. And it's just probably a whole new way that you've never done it before. And it, you know, we practice and practice until you get good at it. It's just a skill to practice, and that's it. It's not whether you are capable or not capable. It's just learning the right techniques and then practicing it like a hobby.
I love that. Someone said here, these are such good questions, you guys. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we have a lot.
How do you trust your body when it keeps failing you, i.e. injury, disease, inflammation? So I actually love that. And I want to try to like reconstruct that and say, what if it isn't failing you, it's calling you back to realignment with yourself? what if it's actually a loving message and it's trying to get your attention? What if your body is telling you that there's something awry in your life that needs to be seen to? Like, what if your body is working for you instead of against you?
I literally just had that realization this morning in my body. So I'm so glad that you brought this up.
Yes. And so it's like, what if it's just trying to tell you, like, hey, there are some things that are unbalanced in your life that if you got rid of it, you would be a lot happier, you know? And so that can be food, that can be environment, that can be friends, that can be family, that can be music, that can be
what is not serving you.
But like, what if your body, instead of being like, my body is against me, what if your body is just trying to call you to your higher self, right? And it's saying that you
absolutely
are right now is not in alignment with who you need to be. Okay, so what toxic thoughts, environments, peoples, and food are you involved with? Because your body is trying to tell you that it is toxic and you need to get rid of it. And so your question is, okay, so how do I keep reading the language? I guess this wasn't your question, but the next question should be, okay, how do I go down the rabbit hole to understand where my inflammation is stemming from?
Yep.
Is it social media? Is it food? Is it music? Is it people? Is it bad water? You know, so
yes,
that question.
Yeah,
you know,
let it be your ally. Like any signs, aches, pains, you know, dysfunction, like it's telling you something, it's communicating to you. And I'm so glad you brought this up, because I had this experience this morning where for years I've had this tendon in my neck that gives me these chronic neck problems, and it's so painful. And just this morning, like this week, I've been learning how to really calm my nervous system and let it relax and work out differently. So my workouts were like very intense, a lot of intensity. And I would try to check out for my body so I could push past what I think I'm capable of. And I would end up pulling this muscle in my neck. So just this morning, I was realizing, like, this muscle, like this pain is such a gift. It is my teacher. It is slowing me down and allowing me to say, like, slow down and truly connect with your body, so that when I do exercises, I'm really feeling each muscle and I'm connecting with my body and I'm letting my body be my guide. And I'm like, what is happening? How is my nervous? Like, I'm checking in, and I'm so much more connected with my body than I've ever been in my whole life, because of this one muscle that is like, hey, can you connect and listen more? Otherwise, you're going to keep hurting us. If I didn't have this pain, I wouldn't truly take the effort to keep going deeper, to listen deeper, to honor my body. And that actually
love that, you know, and again, like, everything is a signal. Everything is a signal for your highest good. And and this is the importance of perception, right? Because person A can say, my neck is broken and is weak. And person B can say, my neck is gifting me this message of boundaries and not overdoing it. So what perception are you going to adopt? Like, like, how can you, like, I don't want to be like manipulate the story, but how can you look at the story in a way that it's actually for you instead of against you? Because things that are for you, you pull yourself out of the victim, villain, hero mentality. When we find ourselves in victim mode, then that is us actually giving up our power and not taking responsibility for whatever is negative that's happening in our life.
And so, your body is actually doing something beautiful and amazing. Like, it's actually trying to teach you something. And instead we get angry and frustrated. And I've been there 100%, where I was so like angry and frustrated with my body, but our bodies are always telling us something from an injury. Maybe it's telling us we need to slow down. One of my clients had a bad knee injury, and she was so upset because she's like, I'm so motivated right now. How could this happen to me? I'm exercising like crazy. And I'm like, what if this is your body saying, hey, can we stop avoiding this need to connect with your food and stop compensating it with exercise, and really just take away everything that you're using to compensate, and really just slow down and be with your body and your food. Even gaining weight, like, that's a sign that our bodies are protecting us and we're under stress or inflammation, that, like, there's something we need to, you know, look at. So I know it's hard to do when you're really frustrated and you want to heal, but what about shifting towards, what is my body communicating to me?
Exactly. So if you guys are interested, again, that's gutsy.ch/cravings. I'm going to type it here again. Gutsy.ch ch/craving. If you want to sign up for the course, if you want to start learning the tools on how to be more mindful and in your body.
Cravings, I think with an S at the end,
Oh,
right?
sorry, there's an S at the end. Don't do that
Yeah,
one.
I just want to make sure.
.ch/cravings. Thank you. All right. You guys, I hope we unpacked that really well. I can't believe we've been going for like 40 minutes. How amazing is that? It was like a full podcast.
I know. The podcast is great information too. If you want to learn more, we dive into it more there. All the information on dates and everything, it's all on the link.
When is the dates? Because the location is all on Zoom. So, and they can go back and watch it. Is that correct? For like a month or so? Do you know?
I think so. Yeah, so we have it, it's a 3-part workshop. So it builds on itself. So you want to make sure that you're doing it each one. We don't really have a plan to do it again. I don't know if you do sign up early, you do get $50 off before August 1st. So right now we just have these dates scheduled, but I believe the first one is August 24th, and then it's like for 3 Tuesdays after that. So we hope to see you there. And yeah, anything else, Jonique?
And someone asked, will you be doing it again? Yeah, you will. And like, do you do it like twice a year, or like how often would you be doing this?
Well, I was just saying that we don't have anything on the schedule. As of right now, those are the only dates that we have scheduled, but we can hopefully do it again in the future.
You guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here. Hopefully you learned something new. We hope to see you in the class. It's going to be really, really phenomenal.
Thanks for all your questions and everything. It's good to know that this is very helpful. So that's great.
And honestly, like, I'm so grateful you guys are here because you are putting intentions out for a transformation on how we heal. And like healing, it has to be within and without. So without with the food, but within with the mindset. And so the fact that you're still here listening means that you are going to be part of the catalyst that helps change how we are transforming healing in our society and our culture. So thank you. We love you. And we will talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.